So I did the impossible this month and I sat down and I watched Child's Play. And man, I don't really think I care a ton about it, which is kind of weird to say because I know it's like one of the big horror greats and all, but at the end of the day, I wasn't that impressed. So to start with my background knowledge of Chucky, I knew he was like the little short guy with red hair. I knew he was a doll. I knew he killed people. I knew he like throws stuff at him, and he's like a serial killer stuck in a doll's body, and that's kind of it. And I can say very comfortably, I don't really think that movie's that great. um, I think it has a couple cool reveals. I like when horror movies start with crazy action for some reason. That's just something I enjoy. Like the beginning of it is the shootout with Chucky while he's very much not in a doll with some random officer. That part's kind of neat, but it kind of feels like I have a very different idea of Chucky, right? Because in my head, he'd be like crazy and loudmouthed and be doing wild and creative things to kill people the whole movie. He doesn't really do much or even say much. There's not even really anything scary in the movie. I mean, maybe back then, sure, but I wasn't like, and maybe it's just because I'm desensitized to gore and violence given modern media, right? But there's nothing really that scary in it. There's one reveal where the mom of the kid picks up the box Chucky came in and the batteries fall out. And then she immediately realizes, oh my god, the doll's been working without the batteries. This is so scary. That was kind of a good scene. I think there's another scene where Chucky's trying to kill a guy in the car. I think that's a really goofy, a funny, creative scene. Uh, but other than that, there's not really a ton I have to say about it. For one, I kind of think the movie would have benefited more from Chucky talking. And I kind of think me having this idea of Chucky prior has kind of ruined the movie because I really expected him to do all these crazy things, and I think the only thing I really remember him doing that was that crazy was stabbing like the back of a car seat over and over and throwing a hammer, albeit I think a toy hammer, I don't really remember, at a woman's face, and that was it. I mean, there's a couple cool things about Chucky. I don't know. I think the fact he's a doll is kind of neat. Um, I don't know if this is true. I read it online, but it is illegal to lie on the internet, so we'll see what people say. That apparently in the original draft, it was going to be more ambiguous whether it was the doll doing this or the kid. I don't know. That would have been kind of interesting. I just feel like it feels like such a nothing happening type of movie, dude. Like the doll like kills two people and that's kind of it. He doesn't really do it in a creative way. There's nothing really memorable about it. And part of me I complained a while back to some friends about how the Scream movies, none of the sequels are any good in my opinion for the most part. I kind of feel like Chucky, it might be the opposite, where I feel like maybe a sequel could really flesh out the idea and give it like more creativity or just something that makes it far more interesting. Because to me, I just don't think I care very much about Chucky. He's not even that funny in the movie. He only gets like 5 lines. Um, I read some Letterboxd reviews because I have a Letterboxd. It's linked on my Twitch. You can see all my thoughts. And some people were saying they wanted the kid to be violently killed in the movie. I didn't think he was that bad for a child actor. I thought he was fine. I'm really struggling to come up with stuff to talk about with this movie because it really just feels like there's just not much to it. It's a doll. He kills people for a bit, and it's sitting right up there with Alien 3 for me. It's a movie you can sit down and watch. It is something I am physically able to watch. That's how I feel about Alien 3. And I felt the same way with Child's Play. But I guess, I don't know. There's like a magic element to the movie. I don't really care about that. I think it's very fitting for the time. I guess it makes sense. I don't really know how it works. If it's like inanimate objects or like he could have done it on a person like that first time, but I don't really care. I mean, that part wasn't explained. I don't need it explained. I really don't care that much. But there's just something so weirdly, I don't want to say boring, because I think it is a perfectly well-paced movie. I never felt like it was wasting my time. It just kind of feels like, oh, that's it, and then it ends. It really just doesn't feel like something that was worth the hype of creating this, like, probably $1 million franchise. I don't know. I see Chucky merch everywhere I go. Anywhere you go, it's Ghostface, Chucky, Buddha, not Buddha. What's it called? Ghostface, Chucky, Michael Myers. Why would Buddha be associated with Halloween? That's so silly. Um, but I don't really get how he became one of the great horror icons. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but I think the one thing he has going for him is I think it's funny he like curses a lot and he's like a doll running around causing chaos. Now, granted, I think Freddy Krueger also does the whole cursing at people bit, but I've never actually seen his movie. I'll probably watch it soon and make a video of it, but I think he's a pedophile. I think that's like his whole gimmick. So yeah, not great. Uh, but anyway, about the Chucky movie, I don't know. Acting is fine. The plot's fine. It is a perfectly serviceable movie. It is a perfectly serviceable movie that you can go watch. But man, I just wish it had something, man, anything. Like, well, I'm not gonna talk about the other movies I've seen recently for Halloween because they'll also be their own videos. We're all going depth about them, but there's a certain like I don't want to say tone, but there's a certain level of like goofiness versus like horror in a lot of these, right? And it really feels like there's nothing really with the horror bit, and I don't think it's funny enough for me to say it does well in the goofiness bit either. So if it doesn't match it with either the silliness or the horror, where am I supposed to be, man? I'm stuck in the middle, and I'm stuck saying, crud, I watched the Chucky movie, and I don't know how to describe it other than it is a literal movie you can watch. But it's a movie, and you can watch it. So there's that. And that's really all I have to say about it. It's a movie you can watch, literally.